Hello, I'm Shané Darby, the 2nd District Council member of Wilmington City Council. It is my great pleasure to introduce a remarkable individual who has made significant strides in supporting families navigating the complexities of autism. Joining me today is Monet Cunningham, the CEO and founders of J House, an organization she founded in 2017 that has become a beacon of hope and support for families with autistic children. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit more on what inspired you to create Jay's House?
My son, in 2006, I had a son, and 2019, we found out he was autistic, and it was my first experience. I didn't even know what it meant, so that's what started the journey.
Yeah, so when you talk about your journey as being a mother who has a child with autism, so you have firsthand experiences, right? You understand the challenges that many families are faced. So how, if you can give me a little bit more, how that personal journey has impacted that in regards to the services you provide for families?
So it impacts it greatly because I feel like I'm not the only one experiencing the things that I've experienced. So if I can say, hey, this is what I experienced, this is how I navigated, perhaps that will give someone else a different view on how to navigate and move for themselves. So we're just here to provide the support basically that I didn't have in my initial journey with my son, right, who is now about to turn 18. So I've been in it for a long time. So just giving people what I wish I would have had in addition to what I've learned.
Right. So when we talk about Jay's House, right, so I know you offer like different types of services to support families with autistic children. Could you walk us through some of the services and explain how they benefit the families? Like, what are some specific services that Jay's House offers?
Okay, so let's start with the fact that I'm a board certified autism specialist. So we provide specialty services around that. So we do therapy, individual counseling, in-home and in-school supports. Okay. So those in-home and in-school supports and therapy and counseling sessions are based around what the family's needs are. So they come in with a need and we say, hey, how can we strategize, work around it, make it work for your family?
Okay. So I know you reached out to me and was like, I have a project in your district that I'm looking to do, right? So what is that service that is now offered in the 2nd District, which I always call like there's small gems in my community right, a lot of people don't know about, because I feel like it's heavy residential and we don't have a lot of business services, but you were able to bring a specific service and business to the 2nd District. What was that specifically?
So that is my new baby, Puzzle Piece Lane, a child care center that specializes in autism supports. We also take typical children as a sibling so that the siblings can stay together. But if one sibling is verbal and the other one's not, they kind of pair up and we can get the child potentially talking or, learning some typical things that children do. So it's been an experience and I love it. Like we get to work with the children, the families. So we get to do both, right? We get to do the supports of the families, helping them understand what's going on. And we get to provide services and supports to the children.
Right. And I remember like when my children were younger, navigating childcare and trying to find like a daycare that fit into my child's needs. Right. And what I think is really unique or special about Jay's House is that you're focused on a specific set of group of children that needs like a different, unique experience and like how they learn, emotional support, the services they need. I actually think it's the first of its kind in the state of Delaware, but definitely Wilmington. I could be wrong, but like what you're setting is like a precedent to like how can we look at early childhood education and look at specific groups of people as our children and say how can we help them in a very individual like way, right? Because an autistic child and a non-autistic child, they're going to learn different. They're going to it's going to look different. And we need people who are experts and experienced to do that. So that's what I loved about Jay's House. And when you called and talked about the daycare component, I was like, I have to support this. So I know one of the services you talked about is emotional support, right? And I know that's a crucial aspect of your services. Can you share some examples of Jay's House, how they have provided emotional support to families?
So we do the emotional support comes in at these IEP meetings.
Okay.
And all of the things that are in support of the child, right? So a lot of our supports are for the parents. The kids are who they are. They function how they want to function. They're loving the skin they're in. As parents, we have to learn how to come into their space and what it needs to look like for them. So the IEP meetings are an emotional process after you find out that your child is autistic, right? Once you find out, it's like, what is this? What does this look like for my family? How do we navigate? What's next?
It's a whole adjustment.
It's a whole adjustment.
Raising kids
it's a whole
is
nother, exactly.
Okay.
But then you throw a child in here that got needs that you have no idea what they're going to be from day to day. And then you throw into the idea that as they matriculate through school, these IEP meetings become a part of your life. And what we find out is a lot of times the parents are not equipped for the IEP meetings, nor do they know what they are. So we kind of start with the parents, like, hey, what do you understand of what your child's going through? How can we facilitate? How can we help you understand what's coming, what's happening, and where it's going to go? So I have to say the emotional part is definitely the IEPs, because you can sit at a round table with these teachers and specialists and they make you feel inadequate as a parent, right? They make you feel like, hey, you have no idea who your kid is. But I try to empower the parents to let them know that's not what that is, right? It's a negotiation. It's not a dictatorship. You don't get to sit and have somebody dictate to you how they're going to support your child. They can give their specialty opinion, but you know your child. And you're able to say, hey, I think this works better. Positive reinforcements need to look like this. And this is how we need to be supported. And it needs to be a team effort constantly.
Yeah. And I love it when you talked about like empowering families, like using your voice to do that. But I know that you have a podcast.
Yes.
And I know you're using your voice to do that. Can you tell us a little bit more about the podcast? How we tune in?
Yeah, exactly. So you can go to Jay's House. It's www.jayshousinc.org. We'll be posting on there when our podcast will be coming out. It's called Everything in Autism. And basically that's what we'll be discussing. Everything in autism. You know, we're not just autism parents. We are parents. We're women. We're men. We have lives too. We may have other children. So we are going to discuss topics around mental health, self-care, being okay with being selfish for yourself, and knowing that it's okay to take time for yourself to be whole. You can't pour from an empty cup. So we're going to have some therapists come on, different parents, you know, just giving different experiences and points of view. And when you go to our website as well, you can subscribe. And on there, we have a community that we're building. So it's not just for us to post questions and things, but we want families to post questions because other families will be like, oh, I've experienced that. Yeah. So we want to create that family dynamic where you're getting supported and not necessarily from who you know, right? Yeah. It's from somebody else across the country or in another state that's saying, hey, I went through that with my kid. This is what we did. You might want to try it. So that's what we're all about, creating that larger family. Or that extended family of support and letting people know, hey, other people are experiencing this too, and maybe on a different or greater level than what you're experiencing. So let's all get together, shuffle around some ideas, and figure out how we all can be successful in being an autism parent. Yeah. So looking ahead, what are your hopes and plans for the future of Jay's House? So starting with Puzzle Piece Lane, our goal is to be in each district to provide supports for the families in their district so they don't have to register to another district to get the supports that they need for their children. We're also going to be having some events throughout the summer, such as bubble parties, some chat and chews, some, meet and greets with some therapists and some people in the community to continue to provide that support and have a little fun. Monet, thank you for sharing your inspiring journey and the incredible work Jay's House and Puzzle Piece Lane is doing to support families with autistic children. Your dedication and passion are truly making a difference in the lives of so many people. If you would like to learn more about Jay's House or find out how you can support their mission, please visit their website. Together, we can continue to empower and uplift families on their unique journeys. I'm Shané Darby, your council member of Wilmington's 2nd District, and thank you for watching.